Welcome to Rankings. This is the series where I take a bunch of matches from a pay per view or a few pay per views and grade them from S tier to F tier. Today we will be talking about none other than WrestleMania 37. It was a very decent pay per view, and I will have a review of it very soon. But I will say there were some really good matches on the card as well as some ridiculously bad matches. And we will be talking about them today and grading them from S tier to F tier, the best to the worst. With no delay, let us begin. Let's start with the very first match of the very first night, Drew McIntyre versus Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship. Now, going into this, everyone thought that McIntyre was going to win. The first match of the first night starts with a huge babyface win. That did not happen. The match itself was really good. It was a very hard hitting match. It was not a finish spammer like a lot of matches have been recently, but it was a very decent match with a very good ending because I believe this opens up a lot of possibilities in the future for the WWE Championship, and Lashley retains, which is the correct decision. I really like that. With all of that said, A tier match. It was a very good match. Maybe not a match of the year contender, but definitely a great match. Then we go into the women's gauntlet match. Oh dear. Okay, so this might be one of the worst matches I have seen on the first night. No, this is probably definitely the worst match I've seen on the first night. There was nothing about it that was good, to be honest with you. The wrong team won. Tamina and Natalia won. They should not have won. Everyone else had a decent reason to win. Naomi and Lana had a bit of a story going on with the tag champs, but never mind, I guess. Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan are the only actual team in the entire match, but never mind. Let's not give them the win. A pretty boring match, to be honest. Went way longer than it should have. And C tier. I don't have much to say about it other than, yeah, it fucking sucked. I did not like this match. But not to fear, because next up is Cesaro versus Seth Rollins. This might have been one of my favorite matches from all two nights. This was a hard-hitting bout. Everyone knew this match would be great. Cesaro is a phenomenal wrestler. Seth Rollins is one of the MVPs of WWE, so of course this was going to be a good match. But I don't think anyone expected it to be as good as it was. Everything from Cesaro being not able to hit much of a swing initially because his hand was hurt, to Seth Rollins showing why he is a multiple-time world champion and why he is considered one of the best in the world at wrestling. Everything worked. Cesaro's first singles match at WrestleMania ended with him having a huge victory, and that is exactly what it should have been. A tier match, baby. A tier match all along. What a match. Absolutely banger of a match. I would really like to say it might be one of the best matches at WrestleMania 37. Next up is the Raw Tag Team Titles match between AJ Styles and Omos and the New Day. This was a good angle more than a match. Of course, AJ Styles was in it, and so were Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. All of them are great wrestlers, so for the most part, it did work. However, in the match itself, the faces were working over the heel AJ Styles. I don't know how that works. The post-match angle, not the post-match angle, the later match angle of Omos showing up and being a dominating figure absolutely worked. But as a match, it was short. It was not that good because, well, it was a tag match and the faces worked over the heel. The dynamics were all wrong. It was a good match to put over Omos, but as a match, I'm going to have to give it a B. A B tier match because it wasn't something special, but it was definitely good. I enjoyed it. Omos looks unstoppable, and yeah, absolutely brilliant. Next up is the steel cage match between Braun Strowman and Shane McMahon. God damn it, this was a stupid match. This does not deserve to be on WrestleMania. I know they're doing the whole angle of, oh, big men can also be smart. They need not be stupid. Oh, every big guy gets bullied at school. It's stupid. It's a generic material. Do it at other pay-per-views, not WrestleMania. especially with Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon is not a good wrestler. He can jump off of stuff, and that's it. There were a couple of memorable spots, like Braun ripping apart the entire case. That was so fucking great. So for that reason, that is what saves it. That is what makes me give it a C tier. Other than that, I'm not joking. This would have been a D tier match. It's the only thing that saved it was Braun ripping apart the cage. That was pretty cool. But a C tier match at best, honestly, could be D tier in a lot of people's book as well. Well, next up is a match that unexpectedly delivered. It's a Bad Bunny and Damien Priest versus hey hop hop. God, that was garbage. The Miz and John Morrison. Even though I will say that the match started like the 15 minutes too late, the entire bunny thing and everything was so garbage. I have to say that it delivered. It more than delivered. It was one of my favorite matches of the night just because of how good Bad Bunny was. He even hit a bunny destroyer outside, which is a Canadian destroyer, but he's a bunny, so it's a bunny destroyer. Haha, funny joke. A brilliant match is not what I would call it because it did not showcase Damian Priest as an undefeatable beast. Well, it did show him as a good wrestler, but most of the shine of the match was on Bad Bunny, which is good. But I hope that it showcased Damian Priest a little bit more. A B tier match, which is very good because this might be the best celebrity match in WrestleMania history. It was a very good match and a B tier match. And finally, the absolute historic main event between Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. Can you imagine what this match represents? It's a very historical night for both women, and the match definitely delivered. At some points, I did think that maybe they could do better, but no, I watched the match again, and it was absolutely brilliant. The only thing I will say is that at the beginning of the match, Sasha and Bianca just smiled at each other, and they were like, "Yeah, we're doing this." Sasha was supposed to be the heel. Why are you smiling at the face? It's so annoying. Kayfabe is fucking dead. But the match delivered. Everything just worked. Oh my god, it was so brilliant. Of course, it was going to be a good main event because it's Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. But no one actually thought it would be this good. Well, a lot of people did, but a lot of people were expecting it to be less good. It is an A tier match. The only reason it's not S tier is because they absolutely shattered kayfabe at the beginning of the match. Otherwise, this would have been an S tier match. So, those are my rankings for all the matches of night 1. With that said, let's dive exactly right into night 2 with Spooky Clown versus Snake. Oh my fucking god. Randy Orton versus The Fiend WrestleMania match was one of the most disastrous thing I have ever seen. Why do they keep doing The Fiend so bad? They made him absolutely lose all momentum at Hell in a Cell once. They made him lose the championship to Goldberg, and now he lost to Randy Orton after one RKO. What is wrong with this fucking company? You have one of the best characters in recent memory right now in your hands, and you waste him to this extent. I am intrigued what happens with Alexa Bliss and The Fiend. I'm kind of intrigued at that, but one RKO is all it took to pin The Fiend. The Fiend got distracted by Alexa Bliss and he got pinned after one RKO. A F tier match. A fucking disaster of a match. An F tier. The first F tier of my rankings history. An F tier. And I don't think any other match has stinked so much as this match. Holy shit, why did you not have a Firefly Funhouse match? Well, WrestleMania Night 2 is not off to a good start, but the next match might be able to turn it around. It is the Women's Tag Title match. Oh, fuck. Well, to be honest with you, I was not expecting much from this match. It was decent at best. It was not something you would see at WrestleMania. If this was on Raw, it would not be anything different. It was a match. It was a match between Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax and Tamina and Natalia. For some reason, the entire crowd loved Tamina. I don't get what it is. For some reason, they cheered the shit out of Tamina. I don't know if it was ironic. I don't know what happened. They actually got into the match at one point. But after the absolute stinker that was the first match, this one half delivered. It was not as good as any of the matches last night. Um, and I'm going to give it a D tier. The only reason I'm not giving it a C tier is I do think that the Gauntlet match was better. This match was slow, it went over the limits of what it was given, and personally, I do feel like it was a bit of a stinker. So, a D tier match. And now let's talk about Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn, the first actual good match of the night. To be absolutely honest with you, this was a very good match. This was a very, very good match. Only let down by the fact that I think they should have given it 10 more minutes. It felt a little bit rushed, as did next few matches. And similar to the next few matches, spoilers, it never really kicked into high gear. It felt like, yes, okay, now they're going to do a lot of great spots that are going to be so amazing. They start doing it, but all of a sudden, Kevin just won. I don't know if that was just me. Everyone seemed to enjoy the match. I did enjoy the match. I think it was brilliant, but it just felt like something was missing. Of course, the post match angle was brilliant. Logan Paul ate a stunner, which is perfect. But I don't know if I can give this a 8 here because it was brilliant, but never reached the level of absolutely brilliant. So, for that reason, I'm going to give it a B tier. Not to say that's not good. It was a very good match. A lot of the night 2 matches have been good, but they never kicked into the next gear. And that is what you cannot say about the next match, Sheamus versus Matt Riddle. Easily one of the worst booked matches of WrestleMania 37, but the match itself was golden. I was so tempted to give this an S tier match because everything was beautiful, but the only reason this is not an S tier, spoilers, is because, well, Sheamus actually botched a move and that kind of took me away from the match a little bit. Other than that, an absolutely brilliant match. It was a hard hitting bout. Of course it was. It was Riddle and Sheamus. Of course it would be a very high tier match. But absolutely the bloodied face of Riddle after the match was so brilliant. Sheamus won the match. It's good. I would Riddle might have retained. That would have been good. But absolutely brilliant match. One of my arguably my favorite out of all the matches, and I'm going to give it an A tier. Brilliant match. Genuinely one of my favorite matches of WrestleMania 37. And next up, a match that genuinely was my most anticipated match of the night. Rhea Ripley versus Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship. I'm a massive fan of Asuka. I think she is one of the best female athletes in the world. Rhea Ripley is fucking brilliant. I thought even though their build was not good, they could have made magic. I kind of was right. They did have a good match, but it was not a great match. The reason being, I know both of these women would be capable of making something far, far better. For some reason, the match again did not kick into high gear. It felt something was missing from the matches, and I don't know what it was, whether it was the pressure or something. It felt like it never kicked into high gear. So, with all of that in mind, I'm going to give this a short and sweet review. Rhea Ripley is the new Raw Women's Champion, as she should be. She defeated Asuka clean, as she should have, and Asuka looked good in defeat. She wasn't buried or anything, but now Asuka is 0-5 at WrestleMania. That is a problem. But with all of that in mind, I'm going to give this a B tier. Could be a better match in the future. I'm very looking forward to their final match at the next pay-per-view or something, but definitely could have had a better match. So yeah. And finally, we come to the last match of WrestleMania 37 Night 2, the Universal Championship match between Edge, Danny O'Brien, and Roman Reigns. What can be said about this match that has not been said already? It was one of the best triple threats in the history of WrestleMania. It was one of the best main events in the history of WrestleMania. Unlike last matches, which felt like there was something missing, from the second the bell rang in this match, you knew we were seeing something special. Everything worked. The double yes lock, brilliant. The way Edge just lost it after some time, brilliant. The double spear, absolutely brilliant. Jey Uso being a part of this match from the very beginning, absolutely brilliant. There's something about Roman Reigns that is so encapsulating right now, and the finish of the match, absolutely brilliant as well. Roman retained, not thought that was going to happen, but a correct decision, and as a result, not going to lie, I'm going to give this an S tier. Maybe someone might say, oh, there was this problem with this match, that problem with this match. It was absolutely perfect. I don't think there's anything more they could have done to make it better. Absolutely brilliant S tier match all around to end WrestleMania on a very, very good note. And that are all the matches that I'm going to stack here today on the tier list. So let us go and put it in the leaderboard. If you don't know what the leaderboard is, we're going to take a tally of all the matches from all the pay-per-views, put them in there to see at the end of the year which pay-per-view, in my opinion, was the best of the year. So thank you again so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please do consider giving it a like and a subscribe. Also, I did start a Twitter account recently where I post weekly reviews of shows like Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AEW, as well as any major pay-per-view. If you want to see that out, please follow me over there as well. I am working on how I would book the women's division in WWE in the upcoming year. If you want to see that, please do turn on notifications. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.